guys is a different thing. And looking at what happened last year compared to this year, it's almost like, hey, we're in a great position. I mean, these guys just lost to Thompson last week. We just beat the brakes off of Butler. So now we can just come in and show what we're made of. It's a region game, so we're going to make it happen on both sides of the ball. So, guys, keep your head up. We still in this game, and we're going to go out there and do it. I'm thinking that's what Coach Baker's telling in the second half as we listen to the Pride of Augusta play for a little bit.
Pride of Augusta, the Laney Wildcat Marching Band, entertaining the crowd here at LCL Memorial Stadium. They're not done yet, but we are completed our halftime report. We appreciate you for tuning in. Thank you to Marlon Palmer. I think we've got Marlon back as well. And coming up next, you'll hear from Marlon with his analysis and keys to victory for the second half. That and more after this brief 60-second timeout. This is Wildcat Football on your Perry Broadcasting Network. welcome you back inside of LCL Memorial Stadium. The press box is lit with Marlon Palmer, Charles McNeil, the M&M boys back together again and ready to bring you second half action of the Wildcats as they take on the Golden Hawks of Washington County. This is a big matchup. The winner with an opportunity to take the second place position over in terms of playoff contention. Obviously, we're still early in the region schedule, just the third game, Marlon, but what are your keys to victory for both sides?
Well, for the Wildcats, starting with the Wildcats, since we're home, we got to keep the momentum going. Keep the momentum going. Contain Beasley. He's been the only offensive threat when you look at it from the defense standpoint. He's been the only offensive threat. And, of course, Washington County want to keep activating Beasley so they can keep winning this game, because that's the only thing that's really hurting us right now. And as when it comes to Coach Baker, you got to maintain the possession. You got to take advantage of every opportunity, which the penalties are great. No bad penalties, no dumb plays, anything like that. Not shooting himself in the foot, like you were saying, to his keys to victories. And they got to just maintain the ball. When they have the ball, give it to Booby. That's what I think he's saying. We're going to activate Booby and just let Booby cook.
Yes, and he cooked on that fourth down play with a touchdown pass as he connected with his new favorite receiver, at least for this one, with his buddy Carl Holmes out of action this week, suspended. He was able to step up and find a new receiver in Twan Brown, who made a gorgeous reception, took it to the house for a big-time score, and the Wildcats, with that score, with 1:04 left to play in the second quarter, cut the deficit to 4, and that's where they stand right now at 14-10.
Not only that, but, I mean, when you talk about Washington County, going back to them for a second, you got to watch out for Justin Culpepper, number 7. He's a defensive threat and offensive threat. He's that guy, that safety valve on defense, and looks like he's calling the defensive signals for the Golden Hawks. So that's one of the guys you got to stay away from. If you're going to run at him, run right at him. Put what you call student body left, student body right, run right at him, because once you get to that second level, he's coming downhill, and he's going to look for a tackle.
Again, you're looking for who's going to score for the Wildcats other than Twan Brown. Well, you can look no further than number 11, DJ Daggett, who's capable of getting in the end zone. I'm surprised we have not seen Angus Myrick play a bunch, if at all, in this game. I misidentified him at the beginning of the contest because there's usually Angus back there, along with the man who made that big return, Vincent Carter, brought the ball up the field. As you said, the numbers are kind of bottled up. They've got the extra tight uniforms. I think they put them in the dryer a little bit longer than normal, and they shrunk on them.
But that's a good thing. I mean, we're both looking for Angus Myrick, and look, we see Vince Carter.
We saw James Pride in the first half as well. The return of James Pride. He's back from the ankle injury. Happy to have him do that. And again, just so many weapons on this Wildcat team. It's just one of many guys that could possibly make some things happen, where it appears Washington County, like you said, has that huge focus on that quarterback, and who could blame him? A guy's thrown for over 1,000 yards in his first 5 games of the season, 76 of 110. His first year starting for this team as well. He was not the starter last season. First year on the varsity, and he stepped up and has made some big, big impact plays for his team. Cameron Beasley, the impact player in this one, coming off that huge loss to Thompson, as the opening kickoff to begin the second half is a wobbler, and has picked up the squib kick as the final instructions came up from Ronnie Baker. You probably saw him on your TV screen. Those who are watching the live stream came out and talked to his kicker, Danny Daggett. He squibbed it right there, almost got the free ball, but unfortunately for the Wildcats, unfortunately for the Golden Hawks, it was Washington County who fell on it at about the 25-yard line, and that's where their drive will begin.
And number 6, Jaden Jackson, was the one who touched the ball. One rule of thumb on special teams, young man, if you put your hand on it, you got to keep it. It's a live ball, so once you touch that ball and let it go, you just, that could have been a disaster.
Yeah, their leading rusher coming into the game was number 4, Jeremiah Steele, the senior, 29 rushes for 168. He was held in check, and I think he may be the one who gets the ball on the first play as they got it to him on the outside. He tried to stretch the field, but there was the Wildcat defenders right there, equal to the task.
One of those guys we never talk about, but always around the ball, Demarion Johnson, came up like he was shot out of a cannon to make that play. He saw that play developing from the screen pass, from the snap, and just burst into play.
The other DJ we like to call Demarion, and more importantly, Demarion making that stop shows his versatility as a down lineman who also can play linebacker. Second and long, handoff up the middle. There's an opening, squeezing through, and picking up positive yardage are the Golden Hawks out across the 30 near the line to gain, which is the 35. They stopped them shy at the 34-yard line. So a pickup of 9 on the play.
You know, in that play there, they put Culpepper in the backfield. That's a different look. So I guess that's another adjustment that Coach Edwards made at halftime. Don't have him out wide all the time. Put him in the backfield because that was a good game for Culpepper.
Yeah, 25 rushes for 159 yards. He's the second leading rusher. Third leading rusher is the quarterback, Beasley. So versatility of Steele, Jeremiah Steele and Culpepper getting it done. As a matter of fact, Culpepper, when he does carry, although limited sample size, averages 6.4 yards a carry as he picks up the first down on that last play, getting the ball out to the 39 of the Golden Hawks.
I mean, he's a thick young man, standing 6'1", 190, so he's a hefty load to bring down once he gets moving.
Also, as you said, a very talented receiver with 10 receptions for 73 yards on the year as they throw it out there high, and it's picked off. Intercepted by the Wildcats. Here they come into Washington County territory. Back across the green. Now looking the right side. He's got a block inside the 20. And the Wildcats will have it off the turnover to open up the second half. The Wildcat defense has stiffened.
Oh, man, what we didn't see on that play was number 9. He put a decleater on that Washington County defender. It was clean and it was smooth. I thought they were going to throw the flag, but he decleated him to spring DJ Daggett for the big game on the INT.
DJ Daggett with another huge play for the Wildcats. Did it on the catch to keep the drive alive that led to the score that cut the deficit to just 4. And now the Wildcats will have it for the first time on the offensive side with James Pride coming out there. He'll be in the backfield with the quarterback, Javarius Booby Harris. Javarius, senior year, comes back to Laney after being at Greene County for 2 seasons. And as he leans forward on the handoff, he gives it to Pride, who picks up 2, maybe 3.
And see, the Wildcats have the Washington County Golden Hawks where they want them right now. They got the momentum. They have the ball back, and they're doing what I thought they were going to do and what I thought Coach Baker told them to do. Contain Beasley. Make him throw the ball. He's not a thrower. He's a runner playing quarterback. And you saw what happened. He wasn't even pressured on that play. He just threw him by a country mile, overthrew him by a country mile.
He did pick up 3 on the play, so second down and 7. Ball inside the 15 at around the 13-yard line. Quarterback keeper, left side, eluding the defender, finding his way down to the 5 before he's pulled down. And that'll be close to the line to gain, which was the 5-yard line. They'll give him forward progress at about the 5.5. So it'll be third down and inches for the Wildcats.
Cameron Shaw came up from his linebacker position to make that tackle. He didn't want to do it because he knew he was outmanned coming around the side by Booby. Booby's not a big guy, but he packs a punch. And I do believe if that ball would have been snapped high, which that's like the 3rd or 4th high snap today, if that ball would have been snapped high like it was, it's all about timing. Booby would have made it around that outside, but he had those 2 to 3 seconds to readjust that snap that was high, bring the ball down, and then make his first move to the left side.
So the Wildcats calling a timeout. Timeout on the field. Timeout comes with 9:08 left to play.
Shout out to Miss Carter, and look like we have Vincent Carter's family down there. They have on the shirts number 9. I guess his code name, nickname is Champ. So we're going to throw that in the mix. Vince Sanity, a.k.a. Champ. His parents and family members have on his number 9 on the back of their jerseys, or have a shirts made right here in front of us. That's that old school Philadelphia Eagles push play for the end zone for the Wildcats.
Yes, it works to
Yes,
perfection. We'll take it on in there for 6. And the Wildcats probably working on that in this week off. As Coach says, he likes to roll in those special plays, get behind Booby Harris, and let the push happen.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you don't always have to, line up 3 and 4 yards behind on a shotgun and you're on the 1 or 2 yard line. That's just smart football. You're man for man, pound for pound. Who wanted more? Let's line up and drag it and run it down their throat. Big shout out to Coach Baker for making that adjustment.
The Wildcats with that take the lead, 16-14, beat them in for the point after. Good snap, good hold. The kick is in the air, and the kick is good. 8:59 left to play. The Wildcats cashing in after the turnover, the interception by DJ Daggett. They draw first blood here in the second half after the interception by Beasley on the high throw puts the Wildcats out in front for the first time since the opening quarter of play. They lead it by a score of 17-14.
You can just feel the momentum leaving that side of the field coming over here, which we had the momentum already going into halftime. Even though we were down by 4, we had the momentum going into halftime. But after this play right here that just happened and we pushed the pile inside the end zone, the Wildcats have all the momentum. The fans are into it. They're going 0 to 100 real quick is what the DJ is playing on over the loudspeaker right now, and that's what's happening. The Wildcats have went from 0 to 17 real quick.
So the Wildcats getting it done, cashing in against Robert Edwards' defense of the Golden Hawks. As we touched on it, Coach Edwards setting scoring records while he was at the University of Georgia with 5 touchdowns in one game. That against USC is the kickoff. High floater, and it just drops dead. Why didn't the Wildcat guy pick up the football? It's still loose. Who wants it? At the bottom of the scrub, they're still fighting for it. Still at the bottom, the Wildcats say they have it. Still no signal. It's the Wildcat football. Wildcat football. Momentum has certainly slid the way of the red and gray.
That's why you do not put freshmen, I don't care how fast they are, on special teams. That guy should have known since Pop Warner, a kickoff is live. Number 22, Caleb Durhart, just gave the Wildcats an early Christmas gift. Shout out to the Wildcat who just stood around the ball and played with him like the ball wasn't live either. Give another Wildcat a chance to give it up, because you had 2 guys just standing there, a Wildcat and a Golden Hawk, looking at the ball like, I'm not going to touch it and you're not going to touch it. But I think it was number 9, Vince Carter, came up and just broke all that up.
Yeah, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that was Angus Myrick down there.
Okay.
Initially. No, it was, and you're right about Vince Carter doing his thing, but I think it was Angus was just standing there looking at it. Like, okay, the ball is live, and you and I were up here bumping like we were trying to get down there to the football. So they're going with the wishbone for the first time this season. They'll give it to the deep back, going the right side, and Washington County, knowing it's a run, nail it in the backfield. That's a loss on the play.
But that's what I call a momentum play right there. You can line up just to see where they're at. I mean, we're going to line up tight formation, what they call 12 personnel, 2 tight ends, a fullback, wishbone formation, and we're just going to see where you're at. We're going to see where you're suspect on defense, hat for hat, man for man. So that's a nice call on first down in distance where they are for right now for the Wildcats.
So they tried the wishbone for the first time this season. It was a staple of offense. Finding that one off of what Swainsboro had done to us the prior year.
Oh, I was there. I remember that still to this day.
Now dropping. Booby's going to throw. Electric arm high in the air, and it's nearly picked off.
That was a good try, but that was stopped by the Golden Hawks defense. Coming up on third.
I tell you what, he's got his hand out and he's doing all that. Number 2, Leighton Robinson the third. But, son, if you'd have been in the right position with your hands up, you had your pick 6 for 99 yards. So I wouldn't be too proud I dropped the open pick while you telling everybody no pass, no catch, no catch. As a coach, if I was on that side, hey, 3, take it down the field. You was in the right position. You just had your hands out the wrong way because wasn't nobody going to catch him. He had the whole side of the field that was green for 99 yards.
Wildcats break the huddle. Ball at the 15, maybe the 16-yard line. Line to gain is the 6. So ball at the 16. There's a throw, wide open. Receiver has it for a Wildcat touchdown. On the far side, the Wildcat receiver broke away from the defender and took him to school.
What I told you earlier, what I told you guys at halftime, let Booby cook. That's one of the key components to having a dual-threat quarterback. When you know he's going to rush and gas you for 20 or more yards, when he step up like he's going to run, of course, the whole defense, linebackers, and secondary is going to step up to make a tackle. He knows where the line of scrimmage is. He do not cross the line of scrimmage, and he just do a little pop pass to DJ Danny Daggett. You could do that all season long with this young man. Let Booby cook.
So Wildcats coming through. And Now the PAT. Beecham high in the air. Will he get it across? He will. It's good. That technique might not have been the best, but the finishing was right through the uprights, and the Wildcats have extended their lead now to 24-14. What a turnaround we've seen in this one. Once down by 11, the Wildcats have come back to lead it by 10.
Number 18, Beecham, was out there kicking like he has a NIL deal. I'm going to buy one of his jerseys. That young man has come through clutch for the Wildcats this season. I greatly appreciate it, and he give me 2 or 3 more PATs. He may be a money maker for next week. I'm just saying. 2 weeks. Spoiler alert, because, of course, we're off next week.
Nope. The Wildcats play next week. Yeah, Wildcats actually, the City Classic is next week against TW Josie. So they'll play the City Classic in next week against TW Josie, and then we've got the opportunity to play into the month of October. The second week of October is our bye week on the 14th, I believe.
13th. I'm sorry. Yeah, I had it wrong. Yeah, you're right. City Classic is next week. That's correct. Yep.
All right, so the Wildcats will kick it away. DJ Daggett, low line drive, gets past the kick return specialist who had his hands out at the 20. He goes all the way back to the 1. He picks it up, goes forward, and he gets met. Just prior to the 10-yard line, 3 Wildcats size him up and lay the wood.
Led by number 11, who just caught the touchdown. He plays wide receiver. He plays running back, quarterback. And guess what, you ladies and gentlemen? He runs down the field on special teams. DJ Danny Daggett with the thumpity thump, thump, thump on the kickoff return. Let's see how Coach Edwards comes out and plays. Has a long history, like we said earlier, with the Washington County Golden Hawks, being a star player as well as for Georgia in the NFL. So he's up with adversity right now. Let's see how he plays it, being down 24-14.
Beasley leads him out. Split backfield. Hands it to the back on his right, who comes over the left side. Slides ahead. Picks up a couple on the play.
And I noticed after that last play, number 7, who just ran the ball, Jaden Culpepper, he's tiptoeing a little bit. He know he's been. That's one thing about play. That's how you can tell if you got a good player or not. If he loves to hit but don't like to get hit, that's one of those players that you don't want. And Culpepper is really tiptoeing right now like he don't want to get hit. Now, the first half, he was running the ball like a wild man.
It's long sleeve weather here at LCL Memorial. 2nd and 8. High snap. Beasley throws it high, and it's complete. In the backfield, the back catches it, falls forward to about the 11. So no gain on the play. That'll be 3rd and 9 for the Washington County offense.
Like I said earlier, Beasley's not a passer, and it's showing right now. He's being put in passing position. He's being put in a position that he has to win the game and pass the ball, and it's not working.
Came into the game with a 69% passing percentage, which most coaches would take that all day and all night.
But it's all about how you respond when you're down.
Here we go. 3rd down. Throws it high into traffic and is nearly picked off. Diving interception attempt by the Wildcats comes up shy at the 30-yard line. So that'll bring up 4th down, and the punting unit will have to come on for Washington County.
See, that's one thing about it. When you see stats and percentages and things like that, a lot of that may be pick up yards. You may be up by a certain amount. You're keeping the guy in the game. Or in their case, a lot of that may have been from last week against Thompson when they're down and you just in the game throwing the ball. But I could see just as well as everybody else, that young man don't have the strongest arm. He's a nice athlete, but when it comes to passing, he's not willing to pass like that. And this was the time to show that he's going to have to pass. It's going to be a point in the game where it's going to come down to his arm. Will Beasley show up? Let's see.
Punter back in the end zone. Waiting the snap. Good snap. Takes a couple of steps. Puts a right foot in it. And it's returned by the Wildcats at the 40. 35-30. Still on his feet, down to the 30 as he's tripped up. But a return of 15 on the play, and the Wildcats once again in business. They'll operate from the Golden Hawks' 30-yard line.
That's what you call being in the right place at the right time for Dominic Moss, number 48 of the Washington County Golden Hawks, because Boo Boo was about to take that one to the high school, down the hall to his homeroom.
6:09 left. Nice return by Boobie Harris. He scored in the second half, threw a touchdown pass as well. So he's responsible for 14 points here in this half, along with a touchdown pass in the first half. So a couple of touchdown passes and a rushing touchdown for Boobie Harris in absence of his best friend, C.J. Holmes, who's out.
I don't even see C.J. on the sideline.
Yeah, I don't think he can be on the sidelines.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think he has to sit this one in the stands as the quarterback keeps it right side. Leans forward. We mentioned not only is he out, but we'd be remiss if we didn't follow up and talk about Joseph Thomas, who's also out.
Sophomore, hard working kid, hard working young man.
Both of those guys a little effervescent, talking with your members of your alma mater about their dinner plans after the game, and got themselves into a trash talking situation. Suspension for this contest. The Wildcats, a must-win situation the rest of the way. So far, stepped up as we expected. We've got an official timeout. Illegal procedure actually is the flag on the play. Illegal procedure is the call against the Wildcats, so they'll march them back 5 yards.
I just want to point something out. Ladies and gentlemen, look at your kicker. Look at your kicker over there practicing. Most of the time you see kickers, they have that one coach next to him. He's over there practicing by himself. That is a focused young man. That means a lot. He's over there picture perfecting where he needs to kick in that net, in the square of that net. Pay attention if you get a chance.
Yeah, visualization being so important in the game of sports now, as he makes the way around the left side, the ball carrier, James Pride. Pride, since he's been out a couple of weeks, he looks a little smaller.
Yeah, I was looking at his thigh pads and his knee pads. He do look a little different. He's on that Cam Newton diet. He's trying to slim up a little bit.
Might have to get a closer look at James Pride after the game.
If I walk down there and we the same size, it's a problem, because I'm 5'9", 160, and I know he's a little thicker than that.
4:42 left to go. We're in the third period. Wildcats being backed up on this drive. Nice return. Put them in business. They're back to the original line of scrimmage on a 3rd and 12. Boobie stepping up. Lose the 2 defenders. Now he's going to shoot and make another move down the sideline. Steps out of bounds at the 20. The line, the game was the 20. Did he get there? They're going to mark him just short. It'll be 4th down and inches for the Wildcats.
See, right now the Wildcats have the Golden Hawks on their heels. They have them on their heels. They don't know whether they're going to run, pass, or throw the ball. They run, pass, or just sit there. They don't have a clue what they're going to do right now. They see Boobie running back. He's throwing the ball. He's running the ball. They don't have a clue.
They go with that Eagles play again. Quarterback keeper up the middle. And they're still pushing the pile as most of the players were back around the line of scrimmage. But the scrum went all the way inside the 15, and that was Boobie still carrying the football down around the 12 or 13-yard line. They'll give him forward progress to the 12. So he needed inches and wound up getting a mile.
Oh, yeah, got a little Wildcat wiggle up the middle to make it happen. You normally getting 2 to 3 yards, but a player like Boobie, when he's cooking like that, man, he's turned a 2 or 3 yard shove into a 10-yard gain.
Officially, they'll give him 7 on that one, Marlon, but it felt like a lot longer than that.
Yeah, man.
And now timeout call, injury timeout on the field. Again, want to thank everybody for tuning into the Wildcat broadcast. Football and basketball to come. Looking forward to bringing you another season, as Perry Broadcasting been here for over a decade, bringing you the best of Wildcat athletics. And your commercial could be in the game if you have a business, Your commercial can reach loyal fans like the ones tuned in right now. You can contact me on Facebook at Charles MacDaddy McNeil. That's one word, Charles MacDaddy, MacDaddy. So Charles, CharlesMacDaddy. And the second word is McNeil, McNeil. You can do that there or on IG or Twitter. Reach out to me at C McNeil Sports. C McNeil Sports, and I'll contact you early next week. During normal business hours, we have a limited number of sponsorships left for basketball and football. With the additional exposure with our live stream on the Perry Broadcasting YouTube page and broadcasting app, you can connect your business with thousands of sports fans like the ones tuned in right now. They are loyal and looking forward to patronizing your business. So reach out to us tonight. We'll get you set up on the road to success, either myself or Winston O. Stricker, doing a tremendous job of producing today's show through some technical issues we had earlier. He stayed focused and got us back up, and the M&M boys bringing you Wildcat football here in week number 7, which is hard to believe, week 7 of the high school season. So coming out of the timeout, the Wildcats looking to score for the 3rd time in this quarter. They've got 2 backs in the formation. They're just having a conversation. Booby in the middle. 1 back in the fullback position to the front of the quarterback. High snap. They'll give the late handoff to Pride. He's up the middle. Pride on his feet down to the 5, and then finally dropped at the 5-yard line. The line to gain is the 3. A pickup of 8 on the play.
And that felt like 15 because Pride is a load. He rumbles and stumbles right to the inside the 5 where he needs to be. And I'm just thinking, with all this talent that we have on the team right now, we're missing one key component, C.J. Carl Holmes. Just think if Holmes would have been in the game, that's guaranteed 2 touchdowns off the rip.
Booby from the shotgun, handoff to Pride up the middle. He's bottled up, still pushing. He's down at the 3. So line to gain is the 3. Let's see if he's made it. It's a left foot or a right foot spot. Determine whether they give the Wildcats a 1st and goal from the 3. They say he stopped just short of it. Have not called over the chain gang. So it'll be 3rd down and inches once again for the Wildcats.
I'm predicting a little Wildcats wiggle up the middle. Just push the pile, force the pile, and see what happens. You're going to fall for 1, but you may end up in the end zone for 3.
Wildcats on the 3rd and inches from the 3-yard line. Booby looking at the defensive line. Knows he has a few more seconds on the play clock. And now the snap, high snap. He'll keep it himself. Up the middle, Booby pushing toward the end zone. He is in there for a touchdown.
Push, Booby, push. Number 5, let it cook. Wildcats in for 6.
So Booby Harris, responsible for all 3 touchdowns here in the second half. 2 rushing touchdowns. This one from 3 yards out. So Booby cooking indeed. And now Beecham. The extra point kick, that's up. And the kick is no good. Wide to the right for Beecham. But nonetheless, the Wildcats now up by 16, 30 to 14 with 2:04 left to play in the 3rd period.
That's what we need. A cushion, so now that defense could just hunt. Just go out and hunt. Just put those dogs in the woods and let that cage open and let that LCL logo fly. The defense will pin their ears back, and they are in a great position because right now Washington County is down by 16, and no offensive weapon besides Beasley. Culpepper has been hit, so he don't want to run the ball no more. Beasley never was a really prolific thrower, 69%, that's okay, but how do you play when you're behind? Anybody can throw 69% when they're up. But how do you play when you're behind? Can you get that team to rally behind you like the Wildcats rally behind Booby? Booby could do either or. He's stepping up, stepping back, passing, stepping up, running. Either or. Let's see what Bees is going to do.
Kickoff, high and deep, pulled in at the 5. Left side 10, far side to the 15, 20, 25, and pushed out of bounds in the Wildcat special teams unit, giving up a nice return there of 20 on the play.
I'm just happy to see somebody from Washington County return the kickoff, because I'm like, why do he have those kids back there? They must be track stars, because they really they don't know nothing about football. They sit there and watch the ball roll. That last time the guy thought the ball was going to roll in the end zone, and they just stopped right there between the 5 and the 9-yard line.
Coach Robert Edwards wasting no time, realizing time is of the essence. Just a little less than 14 minutes left to go in regulation. Quarterback throws it out. Beasley complete. Reception is made, angling back toward the middle of the field where he gets a little help from his friends, pushing from behind. The Wildcats equal to the task to keep him in check, but not before a gain of 6 on the play, out across the 30 to about the 31, maybe the 32, and we've got an injured Wildcat on the field.
That's the third time for the last 3 possessions that Coach Edwards has ran that same play, and Coach Baker's on it. The last time when they came out after the kickoff, after the touchdown, they got the ball, they ran that same fake left, screen pass right. They did it again this time. They gained more yards this time. The first time, of course, it was just stopped short. I mean, it was just shut down by number 25, Demarius Johnson. But this time they did gain some yards on it. So it's almost like right now they're desperate and they're just trying to do what they can. Of course, the first half I couldn't report it, but they did this little waggle flea flicker play. I'm trying to see if they're going to do something like that now.
Second and 4, pass out in the flat, complete. Angling down the left side. He's got a huge opening, and he is gone. 40, 35, 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5, end zone, touchdown, Washington County.
That's one of those plays that's a busted play because he was stopped in the backfield before he got off and running.
No flags. 74-yard pitch and catch off the screen pass. You talked about the track stars Washington County may have. Well, he ran the 100, at least the 74, in about 5.3 seconds.
The 74. I like that. But it didn't have to be like that. I mean, it was one-on-one. They gave that was a smart play by Coach Edwards. Give it to your playmakers in space. That's a nice play. I like that. Make your playmakers play. That was a great thing. And on that last play, that was number 7, Culpepper, Justin Culpepper.
PAT, no good. The PAT, the 2-point try that would have cut it to a 1-possession game, no good. The Wildcats stiffening there, but it was Mr. Culpepper. We talked about his prowess. Justin on the offensive side and the defensive side of the football, a guy who came into this game with high accolades, 25 runs on the season for 159, averaging 6.4 yards per carry, first year on the varsity, and 3 touchdown runs, and then 10 receptions on the season, coming in for 73 yards, an average of 7.3 per catch. Well, that average is going to really increase thanks to that catch there for 74 yards and a score.
I would love to be in film study on Monday when Coach Baker pull that plays up, because that player right there, it was one-on-one. I mean, you had the offensive player right there in front of you. That's one-on-one. Even if you don't make the tackle, that's fine. But force it inside to your help. Don't give up the outside, because there's nothing over there but sideline. If you cannot make the tackle, force the play inside. He just beat you to the numbers, got outside the numbers, and 74 yards later, we're still talking about it.
So still a two-score game. That's a big stop on that two-point conversion. The Wildcats will look to answer on this possession. Christian Roundtree, the kicker. Right foot into it, high floater. 3 bounces and picked up by the Wildcats. Up the middle they go, 25-30, 35, spinning, lost his helmet. That's, I think, a face mask as 5 pieces of laundry come flying in.
They snatched it off his head, and guess what? Booby was still cooking. I mean, when you got all that momentum, of course you're supposed to just go down because it's hard for the defenders to just stop. So he did what he was supposed to do. He just kept chugging along and ducked his head down, but they snatched that helmet completely off his head.
Starting quarterback of the Wildcats, kick return specialist, guy that sells hot dogs at halftime.
He unlocked the gate for me when I got here.
That's it. got you in the elevator, right?
Sure did.
Elevator specialist. Booby Harris literally does it all. The legend just continues.
Yeah, man.
And it will grow as the years go on if he can make the Wildcats, help the Wildcats to a deep run. The young man who was here as a freshman campaign, ruled ineligible after so many games in that freshman season. Those games were forfeited by the Wildcats. He transfers out to Greene County, goes there for 2 years. Offensive MVP 1 year, the team's MVP the 2nd year, all-state performer, and a lower classification of single A, comes back to double A, just wanting to play with his longtime friends, and gets an opportunity after 4 weeks to get on the field, plays in a non-region game, goes off in that one, and now he continues to shine in this one with a couple of touchdown passes, touchdown run in this game, and right now he's going to call his own number, left side. Booby's on his feet down the left sideline. He steps out of bounds back around the 34-yard line, but that was almost the appropriate call because he was about to take that one to the house.
And see, that was a smart football play by Booby because they had strong side to the right side. He saw the side that he was supposed to run to collapsing because Washington County sent their blitz, which means Booby counter-stepped to the outside, the short side of the field for that big game.
58 seconds remaining in the 3rd period. The Wildcats up 30-20. Ball at the 34. The handoff up the middle. James Pride stopped. Got back to the line of scrimmage. May have been stopped just shy of that. It looks like he lost some yardage on that one. So it'll be 2nd and long for the Wildcats.
Don't sleep on DJ Daggett, who is playing quarterback now. Don't sleep on him. He will take that ball, tuck and run. I was surprised he gave it to James Pride on that one on the read option.
The guy that you just saw sprinting into the huddle, that was the quarterback. In between plays, he comes over to get the signals from head coach Ronnie Baker. And now he'll carry it. Right side. Now he tries to reverse field, and he shouldn't have done that as he's nailed in the backfield. But that won't matter as the quarter comes to a close. We played 12 minutes here in the 3rd quarter. Action-packed it has been for the Wildcat Nation. An interception, the fumble recovery led to a pair of scores, and then Booby on his own with a 3-yard keeper. And the Wildcats lead this one at the end of 3 quarters of play by a score of 30-20. Again, the Wildcat Nation, 4th quarter, right around the corner. The Wildcats on the Perry Wildcat Broadcasting Network. Back inside LCL Memorial Stadium, Friday night football, the Mac Daddy and Marlin here, the M&M boys bringing you the best of Wildcat football in their 75th season. Looking for another victory and an opportunity to knock off the Washington County Golden Hawks for the third consecutive time. Talked about the series being so tight over the years. A lot of excitement had between these two teams. Coming in, this is the 18th meeting with Washington County leading the all-time series 10-7. Wildcats winning those last two games last season 28-18, and in 2015 36-29 in a scoring fest in Sandersville.
I'm going to keep my eye on Angus Myrick, number 3. He's down on the sideline. On that last play before halftime, DJ Daggett fumbled, and Angus Myrick picked up the fumble. And was trying to make something out of nothing. Like he got a little flat tire a little bit, as you guys probably see the trainer going to talk to his mom. She just left the field, talk to his mom. He looks okay, but like he have a little flat tire or something like that. So I'm going to watch that closely and see and make sure he's okay.
Robert Edwards on the far sideline, huddling up with his team, but also taking an opportunity to have a word or two with the official. Ball on the far hash. Start of the fourth period here on the Boulevard. Next week, we'll be at the Eagles Nest, 15th Street. The annual renewal of one of the greatest rivalries in the Garden City, the City Classic. Dates back to the inception of T.W. Josie, their second year there. The school split to allow T.W. Josie to get some of the folks on one side of the railroad tracks.
And that's funny because my dad and my uncle, his brother, went to Laney, but my 2 aunts, they went to Josie. And back then, of course, this is the early 70s, so they walked from Sunset to Laney, of course, and Josie's right across the street. And they rather walk, they want to go to Laney just that bad. So my uncle, my dad went to Laney. That's where you met my mom, but my 2 aunts living in the house with my dad and his brother went to Josie. Go figure.
And we talked about Jariah Lewis recuperating from emergency surgery earlier in the broadcast. He too had that similar situation.
Mm-hmm.
Older siblings were Laney alums, and then the younger siblings finished up at Josie. So yeah, there's a lot of family ties that bind them in this rivalry.
Yeah,
I've had the pleasure of calling these games going back to 1995, 94, 95, I guess it was.
The championship year?
Well, I was definitely a part of the championship year, but I'm just talking about in general, just covering the regular season of football going back to 94.
Gotcha.
And this game itself, the game we're talking about next week, the City Classic. So coming up on 30 years of calling those games. The great players that have come through both programs in that time. So here we go. Start of the fourth period. Clock is moving. Wildcats with the football. Their quarterback is Boobie Harris. One back in the formation. They've got a clock operator on one side telling them when to snap it. Now's about the time. Need to snap it quick. And it's delayed gain. The Wildcats didn't snap it in time. So that's exactly what you didn't want. They knew it was 12 minutes on the clock, so you could estimate you needed to have the snap off by 35 or 25-second play clock. And they didn't do that.
You don't want to start like this after Washington County just scored. You don't want to get them back the momentum, because they do have the athletes, or 2 athletes at least. They've proven they have 2 in Beasley and Culpepper. But you don't want to get that team any more momentum than they already have.
Everybody becomes an athlete once you open up the door to those 2. Put so much attention on one guy, Boobie. Speaking of one guy being able to do some things, Boobie goes left side. You can hear the Washington County fan base excited about holding Boobie to a short gain. So it'll be the 3rd down and 20. Actually, the line again is the 15, so on 4th down, they're going to bring on the punting unit. Try to pin him in deep. DJ Daggett will do the honors.
And that's a smart play because the defense has been holding them down for the most part, except for a little mishaps on that last touchdown. But other than that, the defense have been standing strong and holding their own. So this is not a bad play.
DJ back at the 45 in Laney territory. Good snap, 1 step, and a nice punt. Takes a Laney roll inside the 10. And they'll grab it right there at about the 4-yard line.
I think Vince Sanity was just a little too anxious on that one because I would have let that thing roll down to the 1-inch line. I promise you. They had control, but Vince Sanity was just a little too anxious. But either way, it was a great job by Vince to even be there in the right place.
Yeah, that's Mr. Champ.
Oh, yeah, Champ. Forgot about that. Got the Champ shirts right in front of us.
The Champ making this the play to down the football inside of the 5. Officially, they'll mark it at the 5. 10:31 left to play. We're in the 4th period. Game recap, Julian Beecham on a 22-yard field goal. Got the scoring started at the 7-minute mark of the opening quarter. Culpepper answered with a 10-yard reception from Beasley, and at the end of 1, it was a 7-3 lead in favor of Washington County. They scored again twice to take a nice lead. They led it by a score of 14-3, and then the Wildcats scored just before the break. Twan Brown with his first touchdown reception of the season, 34-yard TD reception. PAT was good, and it was 14-10 at the break. On to the 3rd quarter, we mentioned the DJ Daggett interception on the high pass from Beasley. Opened up the door. Boobie Harris walked through it, 15-yard touchdown run. It was 17-14. Then a kickoff fumble recovery gave the Wildcats back the football on the ensuing kickoff. And they cashed in again as a receiver made the catch. Wildcats touchdown from Boobie, 24-14. And then the Wildcats weren't done as Boobie this time on a keeper. 3-yard touchdown run after the defense stiffened. Beecham missed the extra point to make it 30-14. And then Justin Culpepper, his 2nd touchdown of the game, a 74-yard screen pass. Caught it, found a picket fence, and went down the sidelines to the house. 30-20, their point after touchdown was no good, and that's where we stand right now, early in the 4th period, 30-20 in favor of the Wildcats.
Now we're about to see, with 4th quarter just starting, we're going to see what type of player Beasley is. Will he rely on his hand or his feet?
Drops and looks, throws right side, man-on-man coverage, one-on-one. And the ball is thrown shy of the intended target. Great coverage out there by the Wildcat defensive back. It'll be 2nd down and long.
That's what you call one-on-one, man-on-man, cover 1, which means the corners are man-to-man, and they have one safety in the middle of the field over the top. But for the most part, that corner's out there on the island by himself because the safety has to drift over to the twin side. So Twan Brown was playing more center field to the right side, leaving number, looked like 9. I can't really tell. I think it's 9. No, it's not 9. That was Boobie. That was Boobie out there playing wide.
So Boobie now in the middle. He may be coming on the blitz. So he's camping out in the middle. Ball's thrown and it's picked off and intercepted for a Wildcat touchdown. Wildcat touchdown. They saw that one on the film, and it worked to perfection. DJ Daggett with the pick 6. No, that's not DJ. That's number 21 making the play for the Wildcats. Nicholas Turman, man, he was on the possibly out list, and he is definitely in and making things happen for the Wildcats here tonight.
I didn't mean to push you as hard on your shoulder. But I told you earlier, I told everybody who was listening, they run that same play after every possession. And if I saw it, Coach saw it, and he told his players to watch it. The same play. When you're down, folks, and you're desperate, you go to what you know, your bread and butter. And that time it was pick 6 because they ran the same play 3 previous series before. And it was just perfect timing.
Technically, a ball was at the 5, so that's a 5-yard touchdown reception, or interception return for a touchdown, I should say.
Then they just scrap that play, leave that play in Washington County. They better not run that play no more tonight because I'm telling you, Go ahead, Chuck.
No, go ahead, finish your
I'm
thought.
sorry. Yeah, but they need to just scratch that play because they only had one positive possession on that play, and that was for like 7 yards off of course, the touchdown, but that wasn't the same play. It was a short screen. That one was. Everything else was a long screen. And Coach Baker knew that play was coming. They've been running it every time previous. I even told you it was going to come again. I didn't think it was going to come this deep down in the end zone because it's a screen bubble, so we have to flare out. And they did it at the wrong time.
And that was the play that scored the touchdown on
Yep.
the previous play as well, so that's why they went back to it. But as you said, you can go to the well one too many times. You're going to come back with some sediment in that water, and that's what they got that time. That was a fantastic play. Nicholas Turman, who's had a whale of a game. Again, he was on the injured list. He was one of 4 players who had shoulder injuries. No sign of that in this one as he came up with the key interception, picking it off in the end zone for a Wildcat touchdown. Squib kick picked up by the short man. He's got an opening. The kick specialist is off to the races. He's still on his feet before finally being knocked to his knee for a second. Still popped up, looking for more. So an excellent return, and maybe Coach may have given them an opportunity to score quickly after the Wildcats score.
I'm just laughing because Winston next to me, he jumped. I punched you, and it was like you didn't know what happened yet. Me and him saw it before like it happened, and you was like on the delay, and then you caught up. I didn't mean to hit you that hard, man. I'm sorry.
Well, I'm glad you didn't say anything.
Yeah, because when he jumped, I jumped because we both saw it.
You saw it coming.
Yeah, we saw it coming.
I told you I got this screen in front of me. We have to get the guys to remove this screen.
It's all right. I'll get you back in your spot next week.
High snap. Beasley gets it, hands it off to his back, who's bottled up. That'll be a loss of 3 on the play. Back to about the 37, maybe the 38-yard line. 9:51 remaining. We're in the 4th period. Clock is moving. Wildcats up by 17.
That's one of the pros and cons of an onside kick. You leave yourself accessible for a big gain up the middle.
Beasley. Looked like there was motion on the left side. No call. He go right side and taking a shot. There's contact up the field and no flag. Wow.
Ooh,
Wildcats may have gotten away with one on that one.
I saw that young man shoulder pads on the inside. That means he snatched the front of his jersey completely down. They got away with one on that one. But I'm not going to say none of you don't. I like their bread and butter guy, number 7, Justin Culpepper. Yeah, that's him. I'm used to that flag in the front and the way he got his socks built up.
So Culpepper was the intended target on that one. Guy on the far side for Wildcats, and now they go with that screen again and nearly picked off again by the Wildcats. He threw it away. It was just Booby over there in coverage. So 9:25 left. We're in the 4th period. Wildcats up 37-20.
And I see what Coach Edwards is doing, because what they have is of course, we don't see number 3 Angus Myrick, who normally has that cornerback spot over there. So now they have Tarquavius Kemp, number 6, playing his spot. He's a 5'6", 145 sophomore.
Third down and 10. Make that 4th down and 10. The pass is thrown. It's deflected and incomplete. The Wildcats will take over. That's a defensive stand for the Wildcats.
Yeah, man. Like I told you, that defense is humming.
The Wildcats coming up with the defensive play. On the high throw, they were right there in coverage. And the ball will go over on downs to Ronnie Baker's offense as the Wildcats looking to run out some clock here. I'd be very surprised if they put it in the air the rest of the game.
Going back to the key thing for us that we talked about in our pregame, next man up, next man up. We have a 5'6", ladies and gentlemen, 5'6", 145 sophomore, Tarquavius Kemp, number 6, playing out on the island by himself, and he's doing pretty good since Angus Myrick hasn't been in the game.
Well, you got to factor in not only Angus Myrick, but C.J. Holmes.
Yes.
Would normally be out there as
Yep.
well. We
Yep.
talked about that next man up mentality as a quarterback keeper. There's a little conversation being had by Ronnie Baker and his fullback, number 41, Keenan Burns. Missed assignment. DJ Daggett comes hobbling off the field.
Well, he got a flat tire as well a little bit. He's okay. We limped off.
.8:35 left to play. Booby with the give. Back to the original line of scrimmage. So it'll be third down and about 8. That should take us under 7, I think that under 8 minutes left to play.
And this is a good thing for the Wildcats. They're scoring, score for score. This shows a lot of, this team has a lot of potential. Next man up, you have one of the key players not playing today, a couple of key players, but one of the stars, and a Dream 16, Augusta Chronicle, and C.J. Holmes, and they're handling their business on both sides of the ball.
Booby on the quarterback keeper. Knifes ahead, out across the 40, near the 44-yard line. The Wildcats would like to thank our community sponsor, W.H. Mays Mortuary, where providing quality funeral service is paramount. Fourth down, and the Wildcats appear to be going for it. Or will they? Booby. Yep, he's going to keep it himself. The Golden Hawks stand him up, and he's not going to get there. Or will he? Second effort by Booby. They gave him forward progress. That'll be a Wildcat first down. The line the game was the 45, and he has it.
That's all effort, man, all effort, because he was stopped 2 yards short in the backfield, and he did one little spin-a-rooney around the right side and fell for that inch he needed.
Now, Booby's got a shoulder. He just came off. I think it's the right shoulder, and a couple of his teammates pounded him on it as he came over to the sideline. So DJ Daggett will be the signal caller. Takes the snap. Hands it off. Left side. Pickup of 1 on the play. Be second and long. Wildcats deliberate in getting the play in now. They'll wind up passing it along to a player come over from the sidelines. That'll be Booby, who actually will check back in the lineup. So the shoulder seems to be fine as he makes his way back on the field. Ball rests at the 47, so it's a pickup of 2, making it second and 8. The clock ticks inside of 6 minutes left to play. Spin move by Harris, and he gets pounded to the turf. Lost 1 on the play.
There's a Golden Hawk down on the ground. Trying to see what number that is.
So once again, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you have a great weekend ahead. We've got the post-game festivities coming up, the Frales and Wilson Attorneys at Law post-game show coming up. We will try once again to reach out to Coach Ronnie Baker following the victory. In years past, when we did the radio-only broadcast, it was a staple. He was used to coming on the air, but I guess the thought of being on TV changes things a little bit with Coach's preparation for us. So we'll give that attempt to get him on so you can hear from Coach after the victory. So Wildcats looking to string back-to-back victories together for the first time this season.
And this is a big victory, man, considering what happened last year, 28-18 in the House of Pain. This is a big victory, and this is the second time the Wildcats were coming close to that 40 mark. So they know how to put some points on the board even with key players being out, down, or hurt, or banged up a little bit. So this is a complete team. They've shown it in all phases of the game, offense, defense, and special teams.
I mean, yeah, you look down on the sidelines, and there's only a few jerseys outside the guys on the field that's remaining. You know, the season started, we had 60 numbers. We didn't have enough helmets to cover the amount of players that had come out. But with JV games being played now, you don't have the ability to suit up as many of the players. And then you have the absence of 2 due to suspension and injuries to a couple guys that did wind up sitting out this one. Yeah, 37 on the board against a Washington County team that has 3 state championships under their belts. And is always in the playoffs. They were even in the playoffs last season when Coach had his first year there. Got the 3rd seed. The Wildcats took the 4th seed in that tiebreaker. So here we go. 5:28 left to play. Booby on the field. Hopefully they did the calculations right this time as he's delaying the snap. And now the snap comes. And it's James Pride spinning off the 1 tackler, spinning forward. He picks up a couple.
This is one of those games where James Pride loves to be down in the trenches, grinding it out for those hard 2 to 3 yards. He's built for it. Of course, he's been more of a blocking back in the previous games, but he still has that getaway speed after having a little injuries to his ankle. But these are his type of games. 4th quarter, grind the clock out.
4th down, the Wildcats appear to be going for it. 4th and 8. Again, they've got somebody on the sidelines that's keeping up with the clock. I think they got a phone out there with their watch. And now a flag goes flying. That'll be a timeout called just before the Wildcats calling the timeout before they get whistled with the delay of game. There's a timeout on the field. It's a Wildcats timeout. Bring your child to the best daycare center in Augusta. Brighter Beginning Child Care, located at 3423 Deans Ridge Road. A Brighter Beginning Child Care Center located at that address, Suite C. Call them today, 706-793-9776.
Fans are in the building.
Yeah, nobody's left. Like I said, this has been a fall evening. We had the air conditioning going at the beginning in our room. Marlin had it climate controlled. And have not needed it here in the late going as the punt unit comes on and the punt is blocked. The punt is blocked, picked up by Washington County. They can advance it, and they do to the 40-yard line, but alertly one of the Wildcats knocked the Golden Hawk down at the 40-yard line. Doing so gives the Golden Hawks possession with still life left. A 2-possession game.
That was number 41, Keenan Burns, the sophomore, in like Johnny on the spot with the HBO, help a brother out play to knock him out of bounds.
And I correct myself, it was a 3-possession game, 17-point margin. Can't get that with the 2-point conversion. So the Wildcats are still safe with 4:19. Something really unforeseen would have to happen here. Low snap. Quarterback has it, and he's going down.
And that's one of those games, man, where you just change quarterbacks. Now the snap is late. Booby's in the right place at the right time. Not only does Booby run the ball, pass the ball, but he blitzes on the ball. Booby have a sack for the game, ladies and gentlemen. What else is new? He's cooking on offense and defense. Untouched.
His first sack of the season.
Yes, against a new quarterback. The timing is way off, as you can see.
Now dropping, looking, throwing. Over the middle, picked off by the Wildcats. Intercepted by Laney. Doing so at the 33-yard line on the diving attempt. Once again, Twan Brown. We got a flag on the field.
That Twan Brown is balling tonight, man. He already have that stature and that body look. He has that frame. And he's built looking the part already. And you going to test him like that? Nah, not on Mr. Brown's watch.
6'1", 175, the senior Twan Brown making an impact. Was not a major factor on the team last season. But boy, has he paid dividends here tonight and even last week at
Yes.
Butler.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Him and Vince had their breakout game, seemed like last week, especially Vince.
And here we go. Handoff up the middle. Making a big-time stop. So there was no interception on the play, as obviously the Golden Hawks had the possession. He must have dropped it, but he was in great position to pull off that play for Twan Brown, so he'll look at that one on film on Monday.
That was the young man, Demarius Harris, 6'1", 230, sophomore, running the QB down from behind. That's a nice play when you have to come from behind at 230, running a guy down that's maybe 5'6", 170. That's a heck of a play by that D lineman. He's just a young guy, sophomore, 6'1", 230, Demontrez Harris.
Yeah, Demontrez Harris, solid player, but also the backup quarterback in the game is Mac May, part of the Eminem boy combination.
Okay.
Mac May, a sophomore, 6'3".
He has a cannon. He's shown he has a cannon. He just need to make a better decision with the ball. I guess he's the guy with the arm, and Beasley's the guy with the legs, because he was on point with the pass. He just threw it in traffic to the wrong guy.
.311 left. Clock is stopped. Got a delay here. Found out that we were doing the live stream. Again, that was one of those TV timeouts, a little longer than normal. Now back to live action. 2nd and 9. Pressure and a whistle stops play. Illegal procedure is the call.
That flag looks like it gets against the Golden Hawks. That's going to move them back.
When you have fresh bodies in the game like Washington County has right now, it's kind of hard to get that quarterback cadence down. When that QB cadence comes in, you're anxious. You've been on the sideline for almost 3.5 quarters, and you're thrust in the game with 3 minutes left and you're down by 16. That's what happens. A big shout out to the Wildcats for leaving their starters in, keeping their foot on the necks of the Golden Hawks, and going to end this on a great note.
Now the quarterback drops. He throws the screen pass, complete left side. Big opening. Line to gain is the 23-yard line, and he's close to that. Forward progress right there, near the 23. Now we'll have to find out where they mark it. Again, that right foot versus left foot. They're going to mark him shy back at the 24-yard line. So 1 yard shy. It'll be 3rd down for the backup QB. Takes the snap. He rolls to the right. He's looking to throw. Throws it into coverage, and it's deflected, incomplete.
Right place, Johnny on the spot at the right time. Almost had 2 picks. Number 21, Nicholas Thurman, being in the right place at the right time. Would have took that one to the baseball field if he would have picked it up.
Yeah, Thurman coming through with the big play for the Wildcats. 2:48 left. Sets up a 4th down. If the Wildcats can get this one, ball will come over on downs. It's a 4th down situation. They've got to go for it. They need 3 scores. High snap. Quarterback keeps it, and he's got a 1st down and more down to the 20-yard line.
He gets up with a little flat tire on his foot, too. He's going against a 4-man line by the Wildcats. Well, 3-man line right now. They're playing everybody safe, almost like a prevent defense to keep them out of the end zone.
Going with tempo. Pass is complete. Left side down to the 15 and out of bounds. That should stop the clock. They'll let it keep rolling. 3 timeouts remaining for the Golden Hawks. And we've got an injury, so we've got an official timeout. Injured player on the field for Washington County. And the officials taking a timeout to address that situation. He's over by the Laney sideline. Hope that young man is okay. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, tune in next week, 7:24 p.m. We'll bring you live coverage of the 2023 City Classic. It's Laney at TW Josie, and a renewal of a great rivalry that dates back to the 70s. Looking forward to that one. As for the Golden Hawks, their 2-game road trip will continue next Friday at Westside. Westside might have something to say about that playoff possibility. They struggled out the gate this season, but have righted the ship.
There's a lot of returners on that team, too. A lot of returners on that team.
And with the rezoning of the area, Westside picking up some athletes.
Yeah, they got a lot of the areas from down in Harrisburg now,
So 2:15 left to play. Second down and 5. Young quarterback rolls to his left. Now steps up. He throws high in the air toward the end zone. Was it picked off over there? No, he didn't have enough of the boundary.
But guess who? I'm going to let you take a wild guess. Who's
I would say that would be Mr. Booby.
That's correct.
What's that? Yeah, Mr. Booby.
That's Booby trying to tiptoe on the same line he probably painted earlier if the field wasn't turf. He just do it all, man. I mean, you dropping back from safety, just drifting off, out of man coverage. He's just doing what he's supposed to do. He's following the quarterback. The quarterback rolls to the right. Booby rolls to the right. Quarterback rolls to the left. Booby rolls to the left.
He's a spy.
That's right.
Playing the spy role. And he's got great anticipation, and the ability to close in on him is now dropping back. They run the screen up the middle this time. Oh, my goodness, the Wildcats aren't having any of that as he stopped in his tracks right there at the 15.
Number 11, DJ Danny Daggett doing his thing at the linebacker spot. Once again, coming up with the thumper.
Again, for the Golden Hawks Nation, want to apologize for not mentioning individual players on some of the plays that happened. The gold numerals are something that when you go back to your athletics department, you'll tell them from a broadcaster's perspective, no bueno.
Yeah, it's hard, man. If they had a different black outline in the numbers, but when it's gold on white, it's very hard to see. So a lot of times we may miss it because we can't see it, or even it's on a delay because we're catching it late.
You can't see it, especially through the screen. I can't see it.
You and that screen. Charles been talking about that screen all night long. I need to get back in my spot. You know, I'm used to looking at the screen. I'm normally on that side.
Our producer, Winston, actually chose that right side. That's our normal perch over there in the middle to the right. He got over there with this clean line of sight. He wanted to make sure he could see the game. The heck with those broadcasters.
Yeah, don't worry about it. I'm ducking off in the corner.
The 97 seconds remaining. Cosmetic score is what Washington County is looking for at this point.
Yeah, just trying to make it look good on the stat sheet. I mean, I guarantee this is how a lot of those 69 percentile passing for Beasley happen in cleanup games like this. And I guarantee most of it was probably last week against Thompson, because I know he probably didn't take him out. They'll
drop. They'll roll from the shotgun. Now reversing the field. Eludes one defender, now cuts back across the field. Oh, this young man's got some juice. He gets down to the 1 and stopped right there. And let's see if they can get the play. Clock continues to move. 96 seconds remaining. I think they were slow in starting the clock. I think the clock operator was a little slow.
Yeah, 'cause that play took 20 seconds, I know.
1:33 remaining. Why is the clock stopped? Okay, now it's rolling again. 1:32 left, and they're going with the quarterback keeper up the middle. Touchdown. So with 1:24 remaining, the Golden Hawks are on the board again on a quarterback keeper. Is that 23?
23, yes, sir.
Yeah, that's Braden Watkins, the freshman.
He's a little spitfire. He got a little fire in him now. He runs, and he got a nice arm, but what you just said, he's a freshman, so he's not used to being in positions to play. But Coach Baker is letting DJ Daggett have it. He did not want those points on the board. DJ was in the right place at the right time, and I think he bounced out or either didn't take on that block that came up the middle. And Coach Baker is letting him have it because that play could have been stopped at the goal line, and he just fell right in where he needed to be.
Officially, that goes in as a 1-yard touchdown plunge, although he ran it about 20.
Sideways.
They're going to go for the kick, I believe. Swinging gate here. Nope, they're going to go for 2. Left everybody in the gate on the other side. Now it's picked up by Laney, and they can't return it. That is a point after touchdown that was stopped, but nonetheless, and we got a flag down as well. So wait a minute. Guess who?
That's his partner, number 6, Kemp. That's that main guy we was talking about, one of those step-up guys.
Tyquavius.
That's right. CJ's gone. Myric's banged up. They just got a stable of 5'7" corners on the bench. They just replaced one 5'7" guy with another 5'7" guy. And this was a 5'7" sophomore. And he is a dog.
Yeah, he is.
He is a dog.
All right, so the PAT is NG. As the flag was assessed against Washington County, Laney declined the penalty. Took the interception. So PAT no good. And with 1:24 remaining, the Wildcats lead is now down to 11. 37-26 is our score. So we talked about this series again, the 18th meeting between these two. Series that dates back to 1970.
Wow.
Now the kickoff. Squib kick off one body. Onside attempt still loose. Washington County has it. The Golden Hawks still have life here, Marlon. 79 seconds remaining. Still a 2-score game. But they got to get the ball into the end zone quickly, or they could go for a quick field goal try.
Well, either they're going to run the ball with number 23, Watkins, or they're going to run a screen to number 7, Culpepper. Those are the two things that they've been doing, and the only reason they have worked is because the Wildcats were caught out of position, missed tackles, little things like that. So we're going to see how they're going to play this with 1:19 left, because those are the only two positives they've had all night long.
This is 29. The opportunity right here with a 11-point deficit. You got to get 3 and then 8. Or a couple of 6s, one or the other. Quarterback keeper is the youngster. Around the right side, he'll scamper out of bounds. Not before he picks up about 6, maybe 7 on the play. This drive beginning at the 45 of Laney off the onside kick.
That's a smart play by Washington County. What they're doing, they're trying to change his launch point and roll in the pocket to the strong side, which is their side of the field. So he has that option. If the coverage breaks down, throw it. But if they don't, run.
The other thing is the good thing about Robert Edwards, he taught the young man get out of bounds to stop the clock.
Yeah.
They still have 3 full timeouts remaining, and now they'll roll again. Quarterback keeper headed toward the sidelines. He'll get out of bounds right in front of his bench, and not before he moves the chains again.
He's getting 10 a pop. Well, of course, more than 10, but he's getting at least 10 a pop for the last 2 carries. But what he's playing to his strength. We only have 3 down linemen, so they're only rushing 3, and they're dropping back 7.
Prevent defense for the Wildcats. 3 down linemen. Screen pass. The bubble screen complete. Angles left and then comes back right. Picks up 5, maybe 6 on the play, but he stayed in bounds and the clock will move. Why aren't they not calling a timeout? Finally, they call one with 52.6 seconds remaining.
They have that 11th guy down on 3 down linemen, dropping 7, and have that safety just over the top as a safety valve, which is 15 yards down the field. Hopefully, they don't have to come to a point where he needs to make the play because that's more yards to gain. So hopefully everything is going to work out with these last 2 seconds. Keep them in bounds. They only have, one more timeout left. So we're going to see.
Again, I don't know if they're keeping the timeouts official. Apparently they're not, because it still says there's 3 timeouts on the board for Washington County, and I'm certain that wasn't Laney who called that timeout.
No.
There's no need for Laney to stop the clock.
No.
The Laney defense been out there a great deal, but they've also made some outstanding plays in this game.
Heck of a plays.
Including a pick 6 by Nicholas Turman. An interception return by DJ Daggett that got his team in business. Booby. Interception of his own. Now dropping back. The youngster looking to throw again. He feels pressure. Now he'll step up, try to get to the boundary. Still on his feet. Wildcats trying to keep him upright as long as they can. And he's pulled down finally inside the 30 at about the 27-yard line. 48.1 seconds left and a timeout called by Washington County. So we're going to assume they called 2 of the timeouts because, again, the young lady to our left there that's doing the clock had done a great job in the first half of keeping the timeouts together. I think she got a little excited about the game, forgot about the timeouts on the board.
And it's like they're running around. Watkins is running around just buying himself some time because I noticed on the kickoff, even the onside kick, Culpepper wasn't running down the field fully. He was running with a limp, like he may have a little splinter in his foot or something like that. So I don't think they're going to rely on Culpepper now, too funny, to even do anything when it comes to the offensive side of the ball. They're going to put it all on Watkins' hands and see what the young freshman could do. But all it's going to take is one thump from them 11 coming downhill like an 18-wheeler with no brakes. And that's going to shut all that down, I promise you, because DJ Daggett is hunting.
Quarterback drops. He looks and throws. Line to gain was the 25-yard line. Pass was complete. Oh, they say it was incomplete. So it goes back. It'll be 4th down. 43 seconds remaining. It all comes down to this.
It's almost like you got to run hooks, sluggos, stop and goes or something because that last play, that route tree was all jacked up. You had guys all in the same area and one guy just sitting in the flats as a safety valve.
3 wide to the left, 2 to the right. Send a man in motion. Now, guy still continues in motion, and they're going to go with the misdirection. Quarterback keeper up the middle, and he will not get the line to gain. I don't believe the Wildcats will take over, and this one should be done.
Yeah, they put the motion man in a heck of a position because he had just basically just chop and chop. He can turn up field after the ball snap.
I think the fans are waiting for the public address announcer to give them the announcement. They didn't realize the defense came through to get the stop. And there's the delayed reaction, like you talked about my delayed reaction earlier in the game on that interception for a touchdown. We just had a delayed reaction by the fan base of the Wildcat Nation. Now they can begin the celebration with 33.8 seconds left in week number 7 of the regular season. The Wildcats will get their second victory in the row for the first time this season and improve to above 500 for the first time this year. Victory formation. Boobie Harris with a masterful game on the offensive side, the defensive side, and special teams, as he was one of your guys coming in, the money makers.
That's right.
And he has stepped up and really carried the Wildcats to this victory.
But it starts with him, and of course he's not a one-man show. You know, he brings his teammates along. He's that type of kid, that type of young man, that brings his team along. So they're going to jump on his back. All he got to do is just lead the charge. Just like right now, he's leading the charge on the field for the handshake. He's the first kid on the field on the 50-yard line, and guess what? Everybody else is following behind him. That's my point, exactly what I was about to say. How Boobie rolls is how the team rolls. They follow him. They keep up with him, and they got his back. So when you got a player down like C.J., Carl Holmes, who is injured, when you have a player down like Angus Myrick, who is injured, Boobie's going to take this fall, take the rap. We got DJ Dagger's going to step up. We got Kemp, who is looking very good and solid out there at that cornerback position. I was very impressed with his play today. I mean, he's a 5'6", 145 sophomore being thrust into action against Washington County. Those Golden Hawks, they're not no slouches, man. So when you're a sophomore, 16 years old, and you get thrown into a game against that, and they're putting a 6'1" receiver in front of you with blazing speed, and he held it down on the island by himself, no safety over the top, cover one to the strong side, and it was not to Kemp's side. That is a heck of an accomplishment for that young man if you don't know about football. Being out there by yourself against a team like that, so that's a good effort on both parts, and even a better effort on Coach Baker for making those adjustments and keeping the throttle down and making this thing happen.
So once again, a tremendous brawl game for the Wildcats in Region Play, Region 4, AA, still getting bottled up as teams vying for those 4 slots. 4 teams will advance to the postseason. The Wildcats looking to do so for the 3rd consecutive time under their 3rd-year coach, Ronnie Baker, who improves to 17, 10, and 1 in his young tenure in his first head coaching job, as he helps his team prevail tonight by a final count of 37-26 over Washington County and the Golden Hawks. So the Wildcats, for the first time in this series, have defeated this Golden Hawks team 3 times in a row. They did so in 2015, 36-29. Did so last season, 28-18. And now the 2023 team comes away with a 37-26 victory. Curtis Smith has our stats. We'll get those to you in just a little bit, but up next is the Frails and Wilson Attorneys at Law post-game show. Tough problems need tough lawyers. We'll tell you all about Frails and Wilson Attorneys at Law as the Wildcats head back to the John Tutt and David Dupree Fieldhouse, celebrating the victory. The Wildcats reigning supreme. The post-game show is up next on your Perry Broadcasting Network. Back inside the press box here at Laney Memorial Stadium, hanging out with you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Charles McNeil, Marlon Palmer, and a cast of thousands making these broadcasts possible. Thanks to Antonio, our talented videographer. Deluxe, of course, making things happen as well in the social media realm, and Winston O. Stricker, along with the hustler back in our network center, running the commercials, and our audio engineer, making sure everything is sharp on that end for our radio broadcast. We thank all of them for everything that they've done tonight, as the Wildcats were victorious by a final count of 37-26 tonight, and the game got started with the Wildcats marching down the field. They got the ball in their opening possession and chewed up 5 minutes. And it resulted in a 22-yard field goal for Julian Beecham, his first field goal in terms of regular season first quarter performance for the Wildcats, and he got the Wildcats off to a 3-0 lead, and I think gave them an air of feeling comfortable in their own skin back here at home for just the second time this season. Washington County answered back 5 minutes later as Justin Culpepper on a 10-yard reception from Beasley, and the PAT was good, and the score was 7-3. On to the second quarter we went, no scoring until the 4:17 mark of that second period, and that's when Jeremiah Steele did his thing as he took one of those screen passes and took it to the house. Point after touchdown was good, and the score was 14-3. And then 3 minutes later, the Wildcats answered as Twan Brown on a 34-yard touchdown reception from Boobie Harris brought the Laney Wildcats back in this one, and they headed into the halftime locker room, the point after touchdown good, with a deficit of 14-10 at the break.
Starting with these second half stats.
So your thoughts about the first half?
Oh, well, considering the first half, we were had a little technical difficulties, but we worked it out. It went to the Golden Hawks. Everything went to the Golden Hawks. They had the momentum. They had the lead going into halftime in the first half. They showed us that they were a one-dimensional team early, but we didn't really pick up on it, not too quick. And another thing they showed us that they are not as versatile as us. They don't have as many playmakers as us. They have players, but they don't have those dogs like we have, 2 and 3 and 4 dogs. One guy step up, the other guy step up. We just follow their suit. So the first half, all was Washington County.
Yeah, of course, we talked about the youth and inexperience on Washington County's team under their new coach in his second year. He's an alum there, but still trying to build the program after numerous stints across the state of Georgia, starting in the private school ranks, Robert Edwards. Then he moved to 3 public schools before landing at his alma mater. Dream job as well, coming back into the youth at Sandersville Community in Washington County overall. His team with a 14-10 lead. Kicked the ball off and made a defensive stand on third down as DJ Daggett came out of nowhere with a huge interception. Daggett's interception set up Boobie Harris on a 15-yard touchdown run, and at 9:58, just 2 minutes into the second half, the Wildcats took their first lead since the first quarter as they led it by 3, 17-14. Then a kickoff, the ensuing kickoff by the Wildcats to Washington County, led to a fumble recovery. Diving on that one was Nicholas Turman, and the Wildcats in business, the 7:57 mark. Nice touchdown pass from Boobie, and it was 24-14. The Wildcats' largest lead was 10. Boobie wasn't done then. Boobie continuing to show his wares out there at quarterback, and the Wildcats certainly needed everything that he could provide.
Wildcats on the third and inches from the 3-yard line. Boobie looking at the defensive line. Knows he has a few more seconds on the play clock. And now the snap, high snap. He'll keep it himself. Up the middle, Boobie pushing toward the end zone. He is in there for a touchdown. Push, Boobie, push. Number 5, let it cook. Wildcats in for 6.
There you had it. That was our call of that one. So the Wildcats making it happen there, and with that score by Boobie Harris, the Wildcats made things happen in a mighty way as he scored there, the 15-yard touchdown earlier in the quarter. 2 scores by Booby, along with a touchdown pass earlier in the quarter as well. 3 scores in all. And the Wildcats lead was up to 16, its largest at 30-14. But back came Washington County as Justin Culpepper, in the 70.